that's us. Nick. That's us.
I just saw my name there.
Who are these two faces on the screen? Yeah, that's us.
How's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining. We are live on Behance.net/live. This is the Adobe Live show, and this week it's about graphic design and packaging with 4 amazing guests. I see already some people in the chat. I see Rufus. Hey, Rufus. Stephanie, Danielle, Melissa, Alexandre. Yeah, Joe, Drew Hooper. All here to enjoy your work, Nick.
Outstanding. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we celebrate a new app this week, Adobe Dimension. We will explain what this is. You have the opportunity to create and share also and win some Creative Cloud subscriptions. We will explain why in a few minutes. But before that, Nick, I want you to introduce yourself.
You got it. My name is Nick Longo. Good to meet you all. Big Adobe user for as long as I can remember. So it's kind of cool to be here sharing a little bit of insight. I started more as a graphic designer and basically flat design. That was what I learned. That's what my first few jobs were. But about 2 years into my career, I got into packaging. Okay. And packaging was just the funnest thing for me to be a part of and turn everything from 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional. And did a lot of work for toy companies and different licensed branding. And this was before I did my own thing about 6 years ago, where I kind of said, let me open up my own thing, do a design studio, but concentrate specifically on food, beverage, and restaurant. And on the food and beverage side, what's great about that is it's still such a huge packaging, demand in that industry. So for me, I absolutely love doing this specifically for the food companies because it's such a unique thing to persuade a client, consumer, to purchase what they're selling based on the design of what you do. So that's why I truly love doing package design so much, specifically in that industry.
Cool. And we met thanks to your podcast. Actually.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh. Sorry. There you go. We're reversed on here. So I'm a podcast host of a podcast called the Deeply Graphic Design Cast, and we're very design centric, where we're not so much in one particular discipline of design. We're more of, you name it. We do a lot of listener questions. We bring in specific guests based on topics we might be talking about that month. And then this year we sponsored with Adobe Max and got a booth and had a great experience there, meeting with tons of people and most of our listeners and tons of Adobe users, finding out what they really loved about Max so much, because it was such a great experience for all of us and we had such a great time. So it was good.
Cool. Awesome. So maybe you can explain what you will be working on.
Sure.
Because you will be live with us today for 2 hours.
Yes.
Then back tomorrow for 2 more hours, and on Thursday too.
Yeah.
So what is the plan?
All right. So here's what you gave me a challenge. You told me to come up with a brief, and what I want to show you guys is a little bit of my process before I get actually to the design process of a package. Is truly like working with either your client or your boss or whoever you're working with, how to get the best brief out of them before you build this package, and set the expectations up to make sure that you are doing something that not only the client wants, but the consumer in the end will choose and pick when it's on shelf. Okay. So it's dissecting that down, and that's what we'll spend a little time on today. Maybe a little execution of it, and logo development of the brand, and then hopefully get into, maybe let's take some of these assets and put them in Dimension and see how it works. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you will really experience a full branding, packaging workflow over the 3 days. So let's start.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up a few slides here that I've got. And forgive me for the slides. I'm a slide guy. I'm a teacher, and and of course my graphics are in the exact wrong space.
They will fix that. Don't worry.
Okay. So what I really want to go through is how have you guys been? Have you talked a lot about this discovery idea of how much is done before the actual design? I'm curious to know what you guys have covered.
Not really. So you can cover this.
Great. So
and don't hesitate to ask questions.
Please.
Okay. This is interactive. We have the chat in front of us. We really are very lucky to have Nick with us, who has a lot of experience in this field. So it's your opportunity to ask questions about graphic design, packaging in general.
Yeah, and please do at any time, because I have a tendency to talk a little fast. So Michael's going to slow me down when I get there. So I wanted to show you this. This is kind of my idea of breaking down what you're going to design before you even do anything. And to me, this is so crucial, because one of the best things of the takeaway I got from Max was that we're trying to find any way to make our time more efficient as designers. And what I feel is if you are just doing too much work out there to throw stuff on the wall and see what clicks when what sticks with either your client or a boss or someone you work with that you're doing design for, you'll have a better shot at it if you do a little bit more upfront. So some of the stuff I want to show you is my brief is this. I usually don't get a really good brief from clients anymore. No, they're just not.
They ask you, what do they ask? Like, I need a box.
It's more, yes. Just give me a pretty label.
Give me a box.
Give me exactly. And for me, I'm at the point where I'm like, if they can't give me a good brief that has things for me that I can lock onto and then design, I have to build it for them, and I have to maybe get a little bit more out of them before I can actually do it. So here's what I do. I go right into a questionnaire, and I can share this with you guys and give it to you something. Maybe it's something you can share a PDF, but I do a pretty in-depth questionnaire, and I give it to them to pull out this information, specifically what they might want. So in this case, I'm going to use a fictitious brand that we thought of here, and it's called SNIX SNAX. So basically, thought it'd be a fun, clever way to do something fun. We'll have a very animated packaging design for it and branding. So specifically, I want to know how you can actually pull this out. So here's what I do. I basically put together something as simple as this. You help a client put together a brand discovery for their packaging, right? How do you bring a potential consumer to buy that package? And some of the stuff what I've done is I will put 2 or 3 columns worth of adjectives and say, client, what do you like? Is any of this speak to you? Is this where we're at?
What resonates?
Exactly. So here's a few good ones that we have. We have whimsical, adventurous, curious, playful, and these become the pillars of your brand and everything you're going to design for when you get to that point. And so here's the questions I specifically ask. In plain English, what does your brand offer? So the coolest thing about your brand. And then one of my favorite ones, and I use this in my class all the time too with my students, is what emotion should that packaging give you?
Oh, the emotion.
Yeah, because it's like...
So what would be an emotion? Like what are you looking
joyful.
for? Joyful.
Educational, right?
Okay.
Spirited.
Intellectual. Like
nostalgic.
Spirit.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So imagine if someone
Nostalgic,
said, I want people to look back and look at our product and say, that reminds me of an old time when
like
I was
childhood.
young. Exactly. So if you can tie into something that's really specific from the past, then you've got them. You see what I mean? But that has to be a pillar that you and, let's say, the client or the owner come up with and say, yes, we agree. So here's some answers I wrote to them. So in plain English, it's a healthy kid snack that is going to be disguised as fun, fruity food snacks. Okay. So
we have a question by
Yeah.
Saisa, because we try really to take all our questions.
Please.
Asking, like, usually when you work in packaging, does it include also so you design the package itself, but also the container, like the shape of the object? Does it have an impact? Or?
Yes, sometimes we do, and that depends on the budget of the client.
Okay, so you can come up with a creative shape also.
Yes.
Oh.
So a lot of times, even if the client doesn't have that in mind, it doesn't hurt to show them that and show them a few ideas. It might up their budget and they might not have it, but you'd be surprised at how many times people do say, let's try that, because it distinguishes them. We look at the Coke bottle. It's a perfect example of we know it by silhouette.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah,
if you can give them something that's very unique in its shape, then it stands out even more beyond your design.
You can make a difference.
Yeah. So we know this. Moms will love it, but kids will love it too. That's the coolest thing about this brand, right? It's going to have to work for both, because who buys it? The mom, the dad, the parent, okay?
With the market.
Right? The emotion that this should bring, we want to be adventurous, we want to be curious, and we want to be spirited when they see this. So when you see this, it should look so playful that you just have to buy it and want to.
You have no choice.
You have no choice.
Take
Exactly.
my money.
Exactly. And it's going to be wholesome, fun. So when that speaks to moms, you got to know who your audience is and uniqueness, right? So here's our story. How many of you have put this kind of stuff together? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
If you have been working with clients and you're doing some design for them, have you helped them out with a story for that brand? Because this, again, all I want to do is have these goals in mind. So when I show the design to a client, they're going to say, you nailed all the points that we talked about. You see what I mean? So if you've done this, I'd love to hear what you guys say when it comes to this, because I don't know about you guys, but
Laura.
yeah. Awesome.
I had this case. Ahmed is also asking, like, can you share these slides with them?
Oh, yes,
afterwards? Yeah.
for sure. Definitely. I'll give it to you guys for sure. This is a PDF.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe we can update the description because the replay will be available on YouTube on the Crave Code channel, and we'll make sure to update the description
In the
with
notes.
a link to the slides.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Yeah.
This is called the web.
Yeah.
It's an amazing
Yeah.
technology.
How do you
should check
build
that.
a story from scratch? That's a great question. When you get the questions answered, so when I go back and I look at this and I say, I filled up all of my questions.
You need first these questions to be answered.
Exactly. Now you got to put a little bit of a different thinking cap on.
Okay.
So one of the best things I always say to young and upcoming designers, specifically students, is learn a little bit of copywriting. Be creative with writing just as much as you are in design. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in creative brainstorms, and if a designer came up with something that was a great tagline or a great story for the product, all of a sudden that designer is looked at as more of a marketer and a designing marketer, right? So you look better, you have a better value to someone that you're bringing because of that. So always keep that in mind. If you guys can do that, I got to tell you, it's one of the best things you can add to your resources as a designer. So please always look into that. There's great things you can look at online to help you with copywriting. So here's our story.
Okay.
From our kitchen, we have created wholesome and nutritious alternatives to sugary candy and empty calorie junk food for moms to love and kids to enjoy. So this
is a challenge.
becomes your mantra. You know,
Okay.
it's your goal. So everything you're going to do in the design process should go to this. And I think we can all look back at advertising campaigns, and advertising agencies have done this for years, where they will have this as something that you sign off with the client and say, okay, we're going to build an advertising campaign for you. Do it as a designer as well, and it's a whole other level, because now your artwork speaks to all this, and no one can come in and say, I don't like the green, and we could say, well, the green's there because we agreed this had to be wholesome
There is a meaning.
and natural. Exactly.
So every time
Yeah.
you will make a decision, a design decision,
Yeah.
you will make sure that it relates to this story. Like you want
Exactly.
to have a connection with the story, the theme, and the emotions. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
And one of the best things it does.
Because someone was asking, we're struggling, selling the value of design to customers. I mean,
Yes.
we always have this story, but
Yeah.
if you come with, I feel like, a story, emotions, and if you can explain every choice, like color, then it will show the value.
Exactly. It's not there for just being pretty.
Yeah,
It has a
that's exactly
meaning.
what they were saying. in the
Yeah,
chat, so
exactly.
That's good.
So keep that in mind. That's truly one of the best things you could do with that. So from all that, I've built a brief. And here's my brief. It's
Okay.
basically, I have a task. Develop a new packaging solution for SNIX SNAX, a healthy snack for kids.
It's a good name, huh?
Isn't it?
Is it copyrighted? Be
Be
careful.
I should say, this is something I've been dreaming. This is the company I
Ah.
want to open on my own. It's a combination
maybe it
of
will become
maybe
real.
my name and Snickers and good stuff like that, right? So I've always thought of this being a great company to start. It must be desirable for kids,
Okay.
but has to be appealing to mom, right? Because they're the decision maker.
Okay.
So our attitude's going to be very whimsical, very adventurous, very curious, very playful, and very experimental. Okay, and when you say experimental and playful, these are things you can start now thinking about, because the next step we're going to do is build the mood board of all these
Oh.
graphics and all these possible things that are going to
And
be
it has to match with the attitude.
exactly. So
Oh,
again,
interesting.
we're keeping the client attached to this every step of the way. One thing I've noticed is this makes the client feel much more connected to the project, that they had something to do with it,
Okay.
rather than us saying, let me take all the content from you, go in my little studio,
Lab.
right? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then show you designs and hope that they're going to be great. Because I think what happens too much is we show stuff off, and I'm assuming,
Yeah.
oh good, someone loves the name, thank you. What that means is that you're so much more in line with what you're gonna be doing, and the response is always 10 times better, because the client goes, that's exactly what you promised me, and that's what we need to start doing, I think, a lot more as designers, is really being in tune with who they are and what they want. And this avoids the biggest problem that I think most of us, and if any of you have stories on this, I'd love to hear what people say, but personal preference of a client always plays in this thing where someone comes back and just says, well, I'm not a big fan of these leaves on here. It's a whole other story, but I don't want to talk about it. It's like, but their personal preference is now standing in the way of the design process and what the consumer really wants. So to me, I really think you got to put them first, and not the CEO's, belief on a particular color or something like that.
So
That
they are
makes sense?
asking us.
Yes.
So how long does it take, to all this research, before jumping into the design process?
I would say if you're new to this and you want to do it right, you build up your process before you even meet this new client. Okay, so what I would suggest doing is putting together your questionnaire and your process. Then when you do get that new client and you want to test the waters, I don't think it should take more than maybe 2 or 3 days. You can do a few hours of the research and a few hours of kind of discovery on your own, and then you want to give back, just like what you see here, this, and say,
you need to have this conversation.
Yeah. Sometimes the CEO is wrong. Sometimes the CEO is always wrong. No, just kidding.
That's why they hire you.
Exactly.
Like if they are always why they wouldn't hire designers, they would do everything.
I've said that 3 or 4 times over the last month. It's like if you know how to do it, go ahead and do it. So anyways, so this is what you've done. You've put together all of this and you've compiled like-minded, you're going to look at like-minded competition.
Okay.
When you go through that, you're going to look at style and vibe and design themes for the appropriate brand. And then more importantly too, what I don't think I've done enough in the last few months, I've been doing this more, is finding textures, patterns, line art, not just images when you're putting together a mood board, but you want to find things that are like tactile. You know what I mean? Like when you think of textures that are going to be on the back of your packaging, it shouldn't just be this because it looks great, right? It should have meaning again based on everything that you have established, if that makes sense. Okay, so again, when you start compiling this stuff to build these mood boards, you're going to find that this is what I look at. I look at the competition.
Okay.
I look at the style and vibe that I want,
also
and then
the
textures.
Yeah, because you will hold this object in your hand.
Exactly.
And maybe you can create an emotion with
totally
something unexpected.
So like if it's got to be nostalgic, what textures would you think?
Yeah, you would think about old paper, cardboard, something,
or maybe wood grain,
string, or a rope.
Yep. So it looks handmade. It looks a little more, exactly. So again, what I find is like, now here's something interesting. So I'm going to show you what this brings up. So I did a few just quick little Google searches here. So here's my first thought. I'm going to start thinking of healthy kids products. I want to see what's in the industry right now. And here's the perfect thing. You can just have access to all this stuff and you can start seeing what's working, right?
May I interrupt you for a few seconds? Because when I see this, I want to make sure that our friends watching are aware that we have a contest going on.
Oh, please do.
And you will be involved.
Okay.
So if you check on behance.net/live, we have a contest tab, and we want you to use Adobe Dimension, which is a brand new app that we released at Max. So just, when was it, like a few weeks ago?
Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
So it's part of Creative Cloud. You can try it for free. Make sure to download Adobe Dimension and create a new project. It's very simple. We want you to create a picture, of a packaging. And basically, you start with this 3D environment. You can drag and drop an object. You can go on Adobe Stock also to find more models. You can scale the object. You have awesome tutorials and also a very good onboarding experience with Dimension. So make sure to, if you launch it for the first time, you will see there is an awesome tutorial. It's super smart. So basically, you add 3D objects. Okay, that's the first step.
Yep.
Then you can add a background picture. Okay, so let's try this one. And what it will do is that you can say match image, and I don't know how it works, but it will analyze the image, check the perspective grid.
That's amazing.
And do a good job at just make it sure like it can match with the perspective. Here we go. And then I can maybe scale down the bag. I can rotate the view. I can change the light. You can do whatever you want. Okay. You can also change the texture. So if you select this bag, you have access to textures and say, okay, I want a glossy white, for instance, for everything. And this one we will use or cardboard. We wanted something vintage.
Yep.
You can also now drag and drop your own logo. So to drag and drop your own logo, you can work in Illustrator. You do your illustration, drag and drop it in your Creative Cloud library, and it will appear here. And you can drop it on a surface, okay, and resize it, again, play with the light.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are these pre-stock images of the bags, the bottles, whatever?
They're also on stock.
Yes. Do they have a die line as well? That's meaning, like, is there a template to use that you can place your art in? So then when you bring
have also like basic shapes, like cube, cylinder, rounded, like something super basic. If you want to create a box, you can create a box.
So would it be better to bring each side? Like, so let's say you want to have a pattern on that on the end.
Yeah, you can select. So you can really. It depends on how the model has been created, but yeah.
So you make your assets on Illustrator.
Yeah.
And bring them in panel by panel or element by element.
Yeah, it depends on how the model has been built. Okay. But yeah, we can give it a try and see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Maybe day 3.
Yeah, no problem.
You're gonna make me a pro at this.
And then you have render.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So render, what it does is that you can directly create a PNG file, for instance. Okay, on your desktop. Okay, we say test bag. You click on render. And this is using a 3D rendering engine. Actually, it's a very professional one. I think it's V-Ray. That's the name. It's the one used by Games of Thrones. So high tech, very high tech. Someone's asking, can I import my own models there? Yeah, Juan Martin. So there is a way if it is OBJ file, .obj, which is a standard in the industry. So make sure that your 3D application can export OBJ files, and possibly they can be optimized so you can render this. And this is in a low quality, but if you do high, it really looks like a picture.
Yes.
Okay? So we want you to try dimension, render a picture. You can really do whatever you want and share the link to this picture in the chat. And during this show, okay, for 2 hours, we will feature what you share, and we will ask Nick at the end of the show, which one do you prefer?
Okay.
And the one you prefer will win a Creative Cloud subscription. If you are already a Creative Cloud member, it will extend your membership, okay? If you played during the first show, you can make new entries, okay? Yeah, we are super excited. We had very good entries during Anne's show, so I want to see what you create and share. All the details are in the contest tab of the behance.net/live UI. Okay?
That is great.
So I will check in about 10-15 minutes if you shared 3D models with us. I mean renderings.
Yeah, I'd love to see what everyone does.
Yeah, we'll see with Nick what's
happening. Should we pick a theme?
Or just let them not yet. Maybe not on day one. You know, they have to.
It's fairly new. Yeah. I get you.
Try dimension first, and maybe on day 3 when you will feel comfortable with dimension, we'll put a theme. But yeah,
that sounds good.
Not yet.
Awesome.
Okay. Great. So we're waiting for your entries, and now let's get back to
perfect. And if anybody is just joining us, we kind of went through a bit of a process of how we take and make a brief for a client when it comes to something for packaging design. And we're going to hopefully share some of those notes, but they are at the beginning of the video if you want to go back once this is posted. So just good stuff to kind of know how to walk your client or your boss or your art director or whoever it is through this process to really ensure better packaging design when we get there.
Wow, and Madis is in the chat. She was our guest last week. Madis!
Oh, cool.
We miss you.
Hey.
She was awesome. Make sure to watch the replay. It was about UX design.
Oh, nice. Is this XD?
Yeah, with XD.
Fantastic. I got to tell you, I'm not a UI UX person in any way. I don't even try to get into that world. But after seeing the demo, it was fantastic. I mean, everybody I know who saw it is already like a pro on it. They've been just using it, or my students use it like crazy.
That it's so easy to use, easy to learn, that a lot of graphic designers, who wants to jump in the UX industry and design screens, just try Adobe XD. It's also part of the Creative Cloud. It stands for Experience Design, and
that's great.
Okay, let's move forward.
All right,
I'm super excited by what you are doing.
So here's what I got. We're starting to build mood boards, and we want to build. I try to narrow it down to 2, and here's why. You shouldn't be, if you've got all this data and insight on what your packaging should look like. To me, as a designer, I don't think it's wise to give more than 2 or 3 options. And I've slowly, and I'd be curious to know from you guys how many options you are showing when it comes to.
How many proposals?
No. So let's say you're doing a logo design for someone.
Okay.
And you done the discovery, you've done all of this, and you've named everything that you want this logo to be. When you are sending your first concepts, how many concepts?
How many concepts do you share with your customers?
Yes.
Okay, Roxanne says
max 3.
3.
She's right on. 2
Powell,
to 3.
2 to 3.
Good.
Interesting.
I bet you if we asked this question a year ago, the average would be 6 to 7, maybe even more.
Oh.
It's interesting that I'm seeing more and more people are understanding that the
Max 2.
There you go.
Hussein, Ahmed 3.
Yeah, that's great. So I think it's smart because here's what you're saying is if you have narrowed down that this logo has to be this, right? Based on all the criteria you're talking about, can you really find 10 logos that can represent that? You know what I mean? So to me, I think if you got it down to 2 or 3, you can go in much more confident and say, I designed more, but these are the 3 that I feel confident enough to say will work.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So rather than giving them 10 and just crossing your fingers.
Yeah, I can design logos.
Exactly. And then I'm sure anybody can chime in here. How many times have you showed something that you really didn't like, and that was the one they chose? Every time. So don't show those ones unless you are 100%. Yeah, look at this. 15 versions. Uh-oh.
Oh,
the Paul Rand approach, and that's exactly it. And there was a great one with. There's a great story behind the Apple's Next. Did you read the Steve Jobs autobiography? When it came time to do the logo.
I've read the book, but for the next, when he created the company after leaving Apple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the guy comes back, charged him $100,000, and it was one logo. And it was an 8-page little PDF. You can look it up. You can find Next design logo design PDF. You can find this great thing there.
It's public now.
And it's unbelievable. And Steve Jobs came back and said, "What are you doing? You're just showing me one logo." And he goes, "You asked me to design a logo for you, and I'm telling you this is it." So it's quite a good confidence level. So if you're doing the 15 versions, to me, I almost feel like you can narrow that down. You can if this is truly what's going to be the logo of that company or the packaging of that company and how many design looks you're showing someone, narrow it down, because I think you'll be much more confident. It's a huge game changer, and I know a lot of designers are uncomfortable because now it looks like they didn't do enough work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're more efficient and you're giving them 3, you should be 100% behind any one of those designs as the designer to say, go for it. So
a logo is a lot of work.
Yeah. Some people are doing one with several options. Okay, that's a great idea.
Like
for
one
sure.
creative angle and
yes,
interesting Marco.
Yeah, so that's a nice way to look at it as well. Some people are being quite bold and just saying, "I'm going to show you one," and that's pretty amazing. So I think that's a little. Yeah. That's a little risky. So, all right.
Bold.
So we're going back into the design process of building our mood board, our brand board, whatever you want to call it, to show the client and say, here's the world I'm imagining our packaging is going to be.
Okay.
And so the first thing I've done.
So when you look at the competition, what do you see as a designer? Like
I start looking for themes. Okay.
Themes. Okay.
I look for themes, and first thing I notice here, and I'm looking here. Do you see what I'm seeing? Like, okay, here,
a monkey,
here,
jungle.
So we're seeing a lot of animated. Yes, exactly.
Like
we're seeing
cartoonish animals. Okay.
We're seeing a lot of bright, vivid colors, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like my eyes are
burning. One thing I like about ones like this here is I'm seeing a very nice hierarchy in the design. So yes, we do have a fun little character.
Oh, but
yes, exactly. So we know the brand
using
name
color
exactly
to create the hierarchy,
and we see the see the flavor name too.
And the picture of the flavor is changing.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Then we keep looking. We can see when there's the big difference between the mass brands.
Is it Dora?
There's Dora.
Oh my God.
Do you have that one?
We have it in French, yeah. And there is a fox who is stealing everything.
Yes.
And she says,
"You're really good.
Shipper.
You're really good with that.
Arrête de shipper. Arrête de shipper. Stop stealing."
Okay, so again, we're seeing minimal design, but really done nicely, right?
Very nice.
Okay.
The logo one, okay.
And look at this, even this one.
Oh my God, I love this.
So just so simple and clean, right? So as I'm looking through these, what I'm trying to discover are buckets. Like I try to put these together in themes and into what I see as kind of trends that are happening in there. And the thing about trends is, I don't know if you guys have ever talked too much about this or where you, and you guys can chime in on this as well. Where do you feel on this? If something is a trend in the design area, should we follow it or break it?
I guess if you follow it, there is a good reason, and if you break it, there is also a good reason.
Exactly, and it's also a risky reason too if you break it, right?
Could be risky, but if you, I don't know. Like also, it depends. Maybe if you want to jump in a new market, you want to get noticed, make a difference.
Well, everyone's saying they're a brand disruptor now, right? That's this big thing.
Let's be disruptive,
right? And it's almost like that's a trend, not just.
Actually, you should say,
what's that?
Break it.
Break it. There you go. I totally agree. If something has made its way that you can bucket this, and I can scroll through my research and be like, okay, well, we're getting a little out of it here.
Mitch says, be confident in breaking the trend.
Definitely. I totally agree. So what I do want to do when I'm looking through this stuff is I do want to identify some themes that I see. Not so much trends, but themes. And to me, are we getting some packaging in that we want to review? Or?
Yeah, we already have an image created by Alexandre using Dimension.
Wow.
And this is actually quite impressive.
That looks great.
I see a US theme. I see some gold. So this is the splash object.
I love that.
That usually we use for drinks.
I'm going to use that all the time.
It looks like art, with this golden statue.
That looks great.
And I see some maybe cosmetics here.
It's a good little logo.
And the logo is
it looks like
the light is very dramatic.
Yep. One thing is the hat
I guess the hat is a 3D model. Yeah, I can tell.
The hat's a model?
Yeah, when I see the texture here.
Yeah, he's repeated
it twice. Yeah. Good job, Alexandre. So keep sharing. At the end of the show, we will ask Nick which one he prefers.
I'll give you a little.
Can win a
can I give him a tip? Make sure your logo.
Please.
Make sure your logo is always in the same color or application. Just.
Ooh, okay. Let's go back to the picture. It's interesting. So you were saying, make sure the logo.
If it's gold in one place, keep it gold throughout. Just unless there's some other reason to turn it black. Maybe it is gold and it's just too dark on top of the hat on the right.
Interesting.
Just that brand consistency thing. Yeah. So,
okay. Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Good job, Alexandre. Keep sharing.
I love it.
Make sure to check. There is a contest tab. On behance.net/live. Next to the chat, contest tab, and it will explain how you can create this type of image with Adobe Dimension and share these images with us.
Great.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. So we're going back to collecting some packaging inspiration for our mood boards. Okay. And like we said, we don't want to say we love this idea and copy it. That's the last thing we want to do. What we want to do is get inspired by everything we see. And then,
which is not easy.
Exactly, because there's so much out there now. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing: in 2 minutes, you can find your competition. You can find 3 or 4 trends.
No, it's true.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So we can do this. So I try to turn it into a positive and say, with all this speed that we have, take it all in. But now, once you're done and you have all your inspiration, and you're going to build some boards, then you close it, and now just use the inspiration you got from it.
Okay.
And build what you want to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through all these. I'm looking through some stuff. And what I've kind of already identified here were these 2 things here. I found these 2 very cool little vibes. I'm calling the first one Gritty Natural.
Okay.
Gritty Natural is kind of like...
Gritty, what does it mean?
Gritty means it has a little texture. Right?
Okay, I get it.
All right. I got to get my translator ready. Okay. So something like when you look at this one here, okay? I'm going to pull in a little bit. It has some texture to it. It has some really cool grit to it. I call it, it's like the natural organic world, but for kids. Okay. So there's a nice one that I really like. And what I just start doing is I literally start taking these and I bring them right into my files. So I usually build 2 folders here. Okay. And one of them is all about, cartoon hip, which is my second mood.
Okay.
And the first one is this gritty natural. So we saw a lot of cartoon stuff, right? We saw a lot of animated stuff.
Okay. Animals,
so I'm starting to see that there's these buckets that I'm gonna build. And through that, I'm gonna continue going through here and I'm gonna go, okay, so here we have this guy, right?
Yeah.
It's nice and animated. It's a little more cleaner. It's very simplistic and nice. Okay. I'm gonna take that. Whoops. Let's get this. Go back here. And I'm going to put that one in my second bucket, which is the cartoon hip. Okay.
Okay.
So this is all I'm doing. I'm just making sure that I have all of this inspiration to start building
In
stuff.
folders.
Okay. So once you've done this, and let's say I don't want you to concentrate too much on the competitive stuff that are out there.
Okay.
Because I think there's a chance that you might be too influenced by that when you're building your own stuff.
Always a risk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just get through here, start seeing it. But here's what I want to do. I want to start thinking about other things that come to mind when I look at this. So we've talked about, and I'm going to bring this back up real quick. Where are we? Where's my keynote? There we go. Do you remember these words? So we had whimsical,
Yeah.
adventurous, curious, and playful.
Yeah.
Okay? So if those are the things I want to start thinking about, I want to look for, so whimsical fonts.
Okay.
So I want to start seeing what is working when it comes to what's considered. So if my client, if one of his keywords was this product, this brand's got to be whimsical, I want to see something very fun and playful. So just for me, I want to start looking and seeing like, oh, okay, I love that. This is great, right? So here's a nice look. So if this is something I want, I'm going to put that in my mood boards, okay?
Okay.
Continue around. What else? Give me some. So adventurous. What would you search to find a graphic that tells you adventurous? Think about it.
Yeah, let me try something.
Yeah, I want to see what you think.
You know what? I will show you what I would do.
Yeah.
I would go on stock.
Yep.
Why my UI is French? Oh my god.
You better update your subscription there. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I'm in the States now. Thank you. And I would tap adventurous just to see, you know.
Yeah.
Because these are like professional photographers,
Yes.
illustrators,
There you go.
adding tags.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see some themes. Oh, such as the pirates. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Didn't think about it before. And yeah, a lot of people, landscapes. And I can filter. Maybe I can check in images what we have only. And maybe filter by illustrations.
Yep. There you go.
Just to get another field and maybe Victor's.
So I'm seeing a lot of mountains. I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
I love that word.
Oh, the
maps.
maps.
So a map.
Interesting.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, look at this.
That really cool black texture with the way go up a little bit. There you go. So like things
yeah,
like
something. Okay, why not?
that. All right. So there's so many great things to look at and be inspired by that. This is just
Space.
there you go.
Why not? Yeah.
Doesn't
It's
have to
another
be
adventurous
yeah,
theme.
it could be anything you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pirates. Yeah. Again.
Travel, but
travel,
right.
yeah.
So passport stickers, right? Things like that, right?
Oh yeah, like travel tags.
Exactly. Or things that have like like that suitcase you had down there where it showed all the
like
different.
here.
Yeah. You see what I mean? So again, these are all the things that I love that you can kind of start grabbing and bringing into your design, because again, when someone does ask you, tell me about this design, it's not just a pretty picture anymore. It's you can dig deep into every single bit and say, this is the adventurous side, this is going to be the curious side, this is the whimsical side. So you are bringing in all of this really cool, again, textural.
Let's say Jurassic Park. You want to be adventurous?
Yes, there you go. All
Just
right,
run
perfect. Yeah,
with the dinosaur behind you.
that would be perfect.
That's a good adventure.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see. What else did we have? We had adventurous. We had whimsical, curious. So what does
let's
Adobe
see.
stock say for curious?
Hey, Adobe stock. What do you mean? And Adobe Sensei. What do you mean by curious? Okay. Again, I just do illustration, but
Yeah.
let's add some photos. Let's do everything
Yeah.
first. I like to do everything. Oh, I like this kit.
Okay, so peeking over an edge.
Peeking over.
Right. There you go.
I like this. This one is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Curious
Obviously,
also. Oh, open
big
eyes.
eyes. Yep.
This one is interesting too. Like, it has to do something with the eyes.
Exactly.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yep.
This cow is very curious. I can tell. This is a curious cow.
I think you've just discovered.
SNIX SNAX.
Yes.
For curious cows.
For curious cows only. All right, there you go.
There is a theme definitely with the eyes, with the glasses actually.
Yep.
Yeah, with the.
Because I think we show so much of curiosity in our eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So when it comes to illustration, let's see. We have the Jurassic Park. We were talking about it. Yeah. No, it's more like a cartoonish, but I guess we can achieve a cartoonish expression just with the eyes.
Yep.
See what I mean? Like,
Yep. And you know where else
look at this guy.
You know where else these words can come into play is in the copy you write. So
Yeah.
do you see what I mean? So even the name of the product, even the name of the flavor, you can make it Curious Cherry.
Like here.
Or you know what I mean?
Or Stay Curious.
Yeah,
it could be also just some sentences that
Yeah.
you drop.
Or Adventurous Apple. You see what I mean? You can.
Oh.
This is where the copy comes into play, and now again, you as a designer are looking like so much better because you're coming up with great copy, whereas they don't have to go out and.
Like Curious Cows for milk.
Exactly. So that's the brand you're going to be designing. So I love that. I want to see if anybody else is saying anything here. Great. Any questions so far with what we've kind of gone over with kind of getting into this discovery theme?
Yeah. Do you have any question about the process or?
Is anybody using it a lot? And I'd love to hear what.
Yeah. Or maybe they have a different.
What advantage it's brought to you by using a little bit more upfront.
I just saw.
Just got
Thanksgiving.
here.
Thanks for joining.
What else we got?
Thanks for joining. So we are with Nick, and he's working on the graphic design packaging process for a fictional brand.
Yep.
SNIX SNAX.
Correct.
Healthy food for kids, and now we are in the branding design thinking, the mood board actually, like analyzing the competitions to extract some themes, put them in some buckets, and also to match with the themes that we want for the SNIX SNAX brand.
Yeah.
And we have curiosity, we have adventurous, playful.
All right, so we got, can you search by color?
So Navish is asking, is it for a mood board? Yeah. Someone's asking, can you search by color? So I can show it very quickly. If I go back here and I prefer to do it with pictures. Actually, it's usually more impressive.
Yeah.
You have a lot of filters with Adobe stock, including that's a new one, the depth of field. To make sure you have a blurry background.
Pretty amazing. Wow.
And there is color, so if you identify that you have to deal with mint, for a product, you want something greenish. I can just say something green, and let's see. Here we go. We have the Curious Frog.
Yep.
Awesome.
There you go. Cool. Internet is great for research, obviously. More creative variation in. Yep, totally.
Coming up with the idea is the hardest part. Yeah, it's a good comment, and but invest a lot of time in this.
Yeah.
Because you will see how it will ease the design process afterwards.
And someone's Mark saying using Pinterest. For sure, like it's a great way to collect everything you have.
Oh yeah.
And share with your client, share with your team if you're really doing it.
Very good way to create a mood board.
Exactly.
I agree. And Valley, really cool the way you're searching every word. I really dig your process.
Gotcha.
I realize I spent too little time in this phase. Good feedback, Valley. Thanks. Hi Norbert. Thanks for joining.
Valley, I can tell you that once you do use this a little bit more and truly express how this value is adding to your clients, or I'm curious to know if you are independent or work for somebody. It would be great to see where you guys are. If you guys want to just even chime in that you're either independent or you work for someone, I'd love to see the range of who we have, listening in. That would be great, because it's true. Once you use this more and really bring it to the client's attention of how much you're putting into it. Again, you're increasing your value, and as a freelancer, there you
Roxanne
go.
Is a freelancer.
Independent
Ricardo
freelancer.
too.
Work freelance.
Laura. Okay, good.
Small manufacturing company. You know what? One little takeaway was from Adobe Max, and I'm curious to know if anybody is in this world. We talked to a lot of people who are independent. We're independent designers.
Okay.
They now work at companies, but they are one man or one woman art departments at very small companies, and they have to wear so many hats. They've got to go from building a brochure to doing something for social media. And now their bosses are saying, "Can you video edit? Can you take photography?" And these people are just like going, "I want to stretch my boundaries and I want to learn more," but some of these companies are a little afraid to add in additional help. So these people are becoming that. I'm curious if anybody is doing that. I see a few. Yes. Yep. I'm a one-woman art department. I see that. Yeah, that's there's a lot out there, and it's tough because you're trying to get.
That's how you describe me exactly.
That's great. That's me.
Feedback.
Yep, freelance hybrid designer. Good. What's the difference between independent and free? There's really not. I don't think. I think a lot of people freelance has sometimes a negative kind of meaning where you're considered more of someone that just works job by job, not you have a client and you work with them closely and they become, a true client to you. They come to you for every opportunity. So you can be freelance. Freelance just means you're working independent and you are a one woman or one man show, but you can be more of a independent contractor or more of a small agency by offering more of a full service to a client rather than just saying, I'm gonna do this job for you and thanks for your business, and then hope they come back to you. What you want to do is write back to them and say, I also do this. I also do, social media design. I also can build you a website. So keep the momentum going with these people so you're not looked at as just a freelancer. You are truly someone that can be, used for everything, and they won't go to anybody else. You become their go-to person.
Oh, yeah. You can build a relationship that will last for years.
Yeah, so many hats. Yep, work at a company and own business. A lot of people are doing both. That's true. Okay, so again, we've gone through, I think you get the picture. You're looking at all these keywords you used. You're researching them to find images, to find texture, to find competitive samples, and you really want to start figuring out what this is going to be. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into some of these mood boards, and here's just something I start doing here. Okay. So I will get rid of the tabs.
Greasy.
Let's get this going here. These are kind of what I start. This is my template for the mood boards, okay? And like I said, I've kind of narrowed it down to these two themes. These gritty, natural, which is a little bit more wilderness, a little bit more woodsy, a little more has that grit to it, okay?
Sandy.
Right? It's got some texture, really kind of cool.
Because by a grit, you mean small, loose particles of stone and sand? Just ask.
Wow.
If you want.
Man, you're like a walking dictionary, aren't you?
Yeah. They call me the Oxford English text.
That's crazy. That was very good. I did not see that you pulled up the dictionary app. So I try to give myself these two blank canvases to start figuring out.
And Kevin is asking, can you show later how to present a concept? Yes, we will make sure to cover this part. It's very important.
Wow, that's a great tip. I've got a few PDFs that we can I can find out tonight and we'll show tomorrow. Yeah. There'll be some great ones.
Come back tomorrow.
Thanks for bringing that up. So here's what I start thinking of. I build some blank squares at the bottom. This is where I start thinking about colors and what I need, right? I brought one thing in here because as an example of this gritty natural, I found this really incredible font, and I thought I wanted to do this by hand, and I do this a lot too with Adobe Capture. I use Adobe Capture like ridiculously, and because I do love the fact that you can bring in your own handwriting skills and your own print that no one else will have. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'll try to make a quick demo of Capture. You can keep talking, but because maybe they don't know what this is.
Oh yeah, you want to do one real quick?
Yeah. Yeah, let me work on it.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so here's what we do.
Keep moving on.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll be back.
Oh my gosh, I got this all by myself. This is crazy. It's just me. There's nobody else here. All right, so here's some tips that I always I keep these on my boards because I want myself to see these all the time. Again, keeping it to 2 themes max. I don't want to show anything more than that. Okay, don't just find pictures, but you want to bring in keywords that bring your ideas to life, okay? You want to see how they interact with each other. And I'm going to show you when you build these mood boards, you don't want to just take them and build squares. You want to integrate them a little bit to see how things start working. He's back. Always strive to develop a design personality. So as you're bringing this stuff in, you want to make sure there's a personality behind it, okay? And then find those mixtures of fonts and colors, textures and vibes, different packaging, and it gives this mood that's going to be what you put together. So all of a sudden, and then also too, I keep this here. I keep my things to look for. So I started thinking of some ideas of what would attract the kid. What would this work? Lunch bags, fruit images, wood grain, compass, product boxes, natural textures. So there's so many things we could start bringing in and start looking at. So I'm going to go back to my gritty natural ones and let me know when you want to break in and play around.
So first, what do you want me to?
Oh, why don't we do? Why don't we write all natural?
All natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can you do it in something really, really? How's your skills?
And
Let's see.
I'm not that good. I will do something and I will make sure you never use it.
Okay. Let's see what he does.
Okay. Yeah, you can keep going on. I'm just drawing.
Are you sure?
Nothing special.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back here. I'm gonna look and see what I have, and I found these were some of those unique things. Let's ooh, he's getting something good there. I like it. Let's see what we have. All right. So most of these I found were some unique ones that were very packaging driven. So I'm gonna go back to here, and I want to find adventurous.
How's it going, Nick?
Good, and I'm spelling wrong, but thank God for autocorrect. So there we go. So I like this. I'm gonna bring this in here. So you said maps. So I'm gonna look up like kid map. And again, you find all these cool ones. But here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
You tell me when you're ready. You want to take it?
Yeah, you want to show Capture?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. So Capture is a free app on iOS and Android. You can download it now and use it in your process. So you can capture colors, you can capture types
Textures,
now.
right?
Yeah, textures, make patterns,
Yeah.
material for dimension. by the way.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
I should try that. I never tried.
I did
capture
burlap.
brushes.
I did burlap material and I used it for.
Oh, look at my brushes. I have some crazy ones.
Nice.
This is my lace. Oh, what's the name? Laces.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
This is really my shoelaces.
So did you took a picture
of my shoelaces.
and then and it caps both ends, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But now we want to capture shapes. Though.
Yes.
So it will use my. Okay, here. I can capture you.
Ooh.
Ooh. And I will try to.
Look at this
take my
guy.
sketchbook.
That looks great.
And there is a threshold, so you can just play with that. Okay, I feel good about it.
There you go.
And then I can delete what I don't need. So I don't need this at the top. Doesn't make any sense, and I think we're good. And when I will press save, I will save it in my Creative Code library. But this is now vector shape.
Yeah.
So you, if you open Illustrator, Photoshop, and you open your Creative Code library and you drag and drop these assets, you get all the vectors, okay? And you get this, you can keep this grid, which is unique to your design.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it will keep the texture and everything. So yeah, make sure to use it. Adobe Capture, it's free. It's on the App Store, on the Google Play Market.
Yeah.
Try it now.
So here's like, here's something I'll show. Basically, I'm bringing this over from my library right into here.
Okay.
And this was text that I just did with a marker. And there you go. So just like he had done, there's something, and you can see how it gets all the texture. I did a fat tip marker on like a very textured paper, and if you look at it, it's like you just said, it's all vector art, which is fantastic. So you get this really amazing ability to bring in drawings, fonts, words that you're gonna write. It's pretty amazing, isn't that great? I use it a lot. So
Capture.
I'm curious to see. So yeah, it's Capture is now the app that does everything. It used to be
Yeah, remember there used to be Adobe Shape, Adobe Color, and now you just download Adobe Capture and you
Exactly.
You navigate from one tab to another one,
Exactly.
and you can access all the features.
There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Much better.
Cool. So I'm back to looking at some maps, right? We were thinking of maps.
Oh yeah, maps.
But what I want to do is I want to go and I want to find more of a line art rather than that. So like all of a sudden, see, you get these really.
Oh yeah, good point.
So I just want things that are not just solids and black colors and color block. I want things that can be actual background textures, kind of faint or different. So as I'm in here, if I just kind of play around and turn things on multiply, all of a sudden I'm getting this cool little mixture of bringing things together, and I'm seeing where colors and shapes. Like when I look here and I go, oh, this was pretty neat. What if this was actually tinted back, 50%, and it's something in the background behind my type.
Yeah,
and
that works.
I have to give props to
And
our.
it's mysterious.
I gotta give props to our friends at Farm Design. They were in a while back, right?
They were live with us.
Yeah, and they're such a great group, and they came in.
Aaron and Christine.
They came into my class, and they had this really cool little game-changing idea by not just bringing in elements for your mood board, but letting these elements interact with each other. And the goal is to almost like think of your mood board as something you're going to actually frame. This can almost be art. And once you think that way, my entire class, we had like 30 of my students, were instantly changed, and their mood board started looking so much more impactful and crazy good that when you show a client now, they go, wow, I'm totally getting this idea of what it could be. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
love it.
I'm gonna look up. We wanted like a lunch bag, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look up a lunch bag.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at different things like this. I can either bring in line art ones, I can bring in the animated ones, whatever it is. Let's look for something that has a little bit more animated. Okay, these are more picture based. Let's go back to.
And as you are looking for it, we have a new entry.
Oh, show it off.
So someone used a dimension to look at that. It's very playful too.
Oh wow, that looks great.
Pop and bites. Yeah, with
see,
four faces. Yeah,
good
it's very
copywriting.
good job.
Good copywriting there.
Yeah,
I like it.
Keep sharing. We invite you to use Adobe Dimension. This is our new application, part of Creative Cloud, to do these 3D renderings with your design on any type of 3D object. The rules of the contest are in the contest tab on behance.net/live. But basically, we ask you just to render a 3D image with Adobe Dimension and share the link with us in the chat. And at the end of the show, we will give away a Creative Cloud subscription, a full subscription to your favorite one.
Damn.
Another way to win a Creative Cloud subscription will be to be very active in the chat in the upcoming 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Pressure's on.
Ask questions.
Laura's killing it right
now. Give feedback, but be active in the chat because we will randomly pick someone in the chat who has been active to give away a Creative Cloud subscription. Okay? So this is your time now. If you are not in the chat, make sure to sign in on behance.net/live with your Adobe ID and chat, because we will pick someone and give away a Creative Cloud subscription.
Nice. That's great. So here's another thing I want to look at. I want to find really nice, these are all fruit-based products, right? So I want to start bringing in some fruit and start playing around with those as well. Again, multiply is your friend, because if you're just doing this in Illustrator and you want things to start meshing a little bit, you can just play around with these. So all of a sudden, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create something like this that has a little bit of a feel, and it's almost something that's a collage rather than square, 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 square. Right?
There is no like grid or layout. Like it's more
exactly.
Like,
and so from this,
like it.
One of the little tips I like to do.
Here comes the spam.
What do we got?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's great. Cool. This is awesome. You should work for it. All right. I'll take that. Anyways, keep looking at these things and trying to find. The more you do, I think you get to a point where you just go, I got enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want one more thing to kind of finish this up. So we want gritty, natural. What else can I start searching for another visual that you think would work for this?
Okay, so what did we have? We have
like, so I wrote here.
You had curious, adventurous.
Yep. So I wrote, let's see. Oh, wood. So like a textural wood.
Oh yeah, textural
right?
wood.
Okay.
I like it.
So one of the things I'll do is kind of go here, wood, grain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start thinking, okay, I want something a little, let's get it here. Something a little bit more gritty. Let's see. Maybe because I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in clip art. Let's just go to line art. Now, there we go. So now we're getting some really cool stuff, right? So even look at like something like this could be a really nice tray dress or something you're going to use at the bottom of your packaging to ground it.
What's your name?
Tray dress.
Tray dress.
I learned this for years. We did a ton of packaging for all the licensed goods for like when Marvel and Disney came out with new movies, they had a line of
small
toys.
Companies.
Yeah, these
startups.
Yeah, these little startups. So, but they would give you the style guide of the packaging. So when
for the toys.
Exactly. So what we would do is we would get all the assets, and this trade dress is something that you always have that you see something being used really nice on the bottom of a package to kind of ground the package to give it. I think the last sample we saw, she had a unique version of something running at the bottom to kind of almost mimic the trade dress. Okay, so I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna see if there's anything fun here to use. I think I might even just go with something like this one here. Again, bring it in on here, and let's see how this one fits. Let's take it, maybe bring it a little bit more on an angle, overlap a few things, and give it a transparency of multiply. And again, so now we're like, now you can start playing with the hierarchy of things and seeing how things are looking. Let's make this one a little bit less. Okay, so here we go. We're getting together this whole feel and vibe of what this thing could start looking like. Okay,
nice.
And the goal is you're gonna do these two. You're gonna do two max. Okay, I don't think, again, it's something you want to do too much. Again, I think you're wasting too much time because you have already identified two really great vibes that you want to go with. Okay, and again, I'll keep this up here. Here's those tips. Just make sure you're looking for things just beyond particular pictures or Pinterest things that we usually do. Bring these together and really make them integrated, make them really feel like they are creating the beginning of the brand. I've had a few students who we've been in this stage, and they found a little area within their work that actually made it all the way to the finished product because it was so inspiring, the way the wood laid over this and then the way the type kind of intertwined with it, that they thought that little section was the building block for the way the packaging became. So they can pull it back from that, and clients love this. Clients want you to be creative, so show them this method.
The story.
You know what I mean? And feel free, guys. I know I'm still going a little quick, so any questions on this process, definitely ask away, and we can answer them. I'll wait for you to see if there's anything really good there. Okay. So that's
and we will pick very soon someone in the chats who will win a Creative Cloud subscription.
Okay. What is
come at any time.
Is this just a random one?
Yeah.
Or is this
just randomly someone who has been active in the chat?
Oh, okay.
So that's the first way to win Creative Cloud, and the other way is to share something using Adobe Dimension.
Got it. Perfect. All right.
And yes, Francesca, Behance link is perfectly okay for.
Last chance to say something. Yeah, patterns are great for a range. Yeah, exactly. And also, too,
oh my God,
that subtle, yes, that subtle look.
Look at what Francesca did. This is her first attempt, and she took a picture.
Nice. There you go.
Of her environment.
And
I guess this is.
That's fantastic.
I can tell. This has been added with Adobe Dimension. It looks so real.
And look how it matched the baseline.
And the color. So that's also the beauty of Dimension, is that it will pick the color, and you can tint the light also.
Yeah.
So if you add.
The reflection on the lid.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that looks great.
And that's the pattern. Yeah, it's a great pattern that you added here. Very good job, Francesca. Thanks for sharing. Keep sharing.
Question, Francesca, did you make the pattern? I'm curious to know.
Good question.
Do you pitch the mood boards for free? Oh, such a great question.
Good question, Marco.
Okay. Yes and no. Gosh, this could be giving away trade secrets.
Okay, we have a winner, and this is Antoine Tadros. Congratulations, Antoine. Adobe Live will write you a private message on your Behance account. Okay, make sure you check your messages, but you will get a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. Just for being in the chat, active with us.
Probably just chilling, having a cup of coffee, and
you see.
Creative Cloud for a year.
Yeah, that's it.
Good for him. There you go. There
Thanks for watching Adobe Live. He's very excited. Yeah,
good job. There you go. All right, so
and stay tuned. We will give away more Creative Cloud, so just stay tuned all over the day, over the 3 days.
So charging for it.
Yeah, I charge for pitching a mood board.
I include when my estimate goes out, there is now a whole new section called Discovery that was never there before. Discovery to me means all of this work that you're putting into. You can sell this as when you're in the proposal stage and say, part of what I'm going to give you is this discovery stage. It is time. So no, you got to bill for it.
It's time. This is knowledge,
and it's proprietary to you. So everyone builds their own version of what discovery is.
Okay.
I've looked at what other people have done, and I've changed mine around a lot to make it very much my own. So what I would suggest that you do is show it in your proposal, put a price on it, So you should be getting paid for this. This is this is where you're getting really the guts of what the project is going to be. So I say yes, definitely charge for it. Some people do put it up front and kind of to win the project.
Okay.
It's your own personal preference. That's a lot of work, and you're giving away a lot of. They could take that.
Yeah, and use a.
Because if you don't have a contract signed with them yet, that work is not.
It's risky.
Exactly. So I would definitely do that as well, for sure. Okay. Cool. So I get to this point, and I would move forward with the other one, okay, and would get to do the same kind of approach. You want to build 2 of these to really have a great, I'd say, idea on what the client would truly want, what it's going to look like, and this is something, if you can present this in person, it's always better. Okay. So what I would usually do is print these out, show them to the client, and get them really engaged, so I can tell by their reaction to it what they really like. Okay, and are they really zeroing in on one? So in this case, I'm going to use this gritty natural theme as the one that was, let's say, chosen, and how we're going to move forward with it. Okay, so before I did that, one of the other things I'm going to do is I want to go in here and I want to start getting from my, let's get these here, from my inspiration, I want to get these colors from here, because to me, I think I get more natural colors from my found objects and things I love. The other thing I love doing is going to Adobe Color.
Benedict is asking, is Adobe Dimension new? Never seen it before. Brand new, only 2 weeks.
Brand new.
Only 2 weeks. So that's why we want you to try it, and give us some feedback also, like the people who try, like do you find it easy to use?
Yes.
Why would you use it? Also it's an opportunity to give some feedback, because it's a brand new app.
Yeah.
And we actually built it with the community based on the feedback.
Yeah.
There is a website, maybe we should find a link on User Voice, where you can still talk to the product team, the engineers, and say, oh, I would like this feature. Like, you can discuss new features basically with the Adobe Dimension team. And I'm pretty sure, there is a User Voice website. We'll try to find a link.
Awesome. So here's another thing I love using.
Oh, yeah, I love it too.
This used to be called Color with a K, right?
It used to be a K-U-L-E-R.
I just thought it was a hip way to say color. And I thought maybe...
Did you know the story?
What? No.
Oh.
Did you write it? Did
you come seriously?
up with it? What was it?
Seriously. The idea was to make it sound like French, because in French it's couleur.
Oh,
couleur.
Yes.
So I guess someone find it cool to name it like cooler, to make it sound French.
It was cooler to call it cooler.
That's it. That's it.
There's the tagline.
That's the story.
Really?
Yeah, that's the story. And I guess someone at some point in branding said, no. Don't deal with the French. Call it color.
Yep. So
make it consistent.
Obviously, yes. So someone was saying you can use Adobe Color in your right in the app with the color themes panel.
In some apps.
Yes.
That's all of it.
So I tend to just go here and explore. So let's say I want to find adventure.
Oh yeah.
Adventurous kids. I probably spelled it wrong again, but I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Definitely spelling wrong.
Let's go adventure. Okay. Yeah. And so this is all curated from users, correct?
All Creative Cloud users.
Yeah.
Every time you create a theme, you can choose to make it public.
Isn't that amazing? I love that. So
it's purely community based.
To me, this is great, because I don't know about you, but sometimes my color choices, I seem to default back to the same ones all the time. Yeah. And for me, when I show my students this, they get a real kick out of it, because you look at this beautiful little color combination right here, this Disney California Adventure, I think is probably what it is. So, nice. And I think you can use with capture when you
on the phone. If you like a poster or anything, or a book cover, you can use capture.
And so I'm assuming someone probably captured the colors of there,
probably,
which is great. So what's nice here is I'm going to just save it. And I instantly get this. Okay, I've already created a cloud library called SNIX SNAX. Okay,
awesome.
And then I'm going to save it in there. Okay. So when I go back,
love it.
And I click here, I go to my library and I go to SNIX SNAX. And there it is, Disney California. It's already there. So I got these great colors to pull from and play around with. And to me, I just love the fact that they're in harmony. They seem like they go together naturally. And so it's just a nice little, you know, if you're not good with color, let Adobe help you, right? That's what I think. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna start doing that. I'm gonna pick all my colors, start kind of doing this, get inspired by what you see in Adobe color and other things. I use the app all the time too. As a great example, we were pitching something for Starbucks, and I actually went in their store, just held up the phone, and you get all those colors, and it captured what looked like, it gave you the sense of what the interior of a Starbucks. So everything we did was those, and it wasn't the Starbucks green, but it was this other green that it picked up naturally in the space, which was really cool.
Awesome.
So again,
Ricardo is asking, does dimension come with my CC account? Yes, Ricardo. If you're a Creative Code member, you can access dimension. Make sure to check the system requirements. I think you have to be on Windows 10 if you're a Windows user. The anniversary update. And on macOS.
Awesome.
But try Dimension and share what you create with Dimension in the chat, and we'll be happy to feature your work.
I'm still waiting for some students to chime in. A little extra credit if we see you on the on the chat.
Shout out.
Or any student. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. Okay. All right. So we've showed the client. They like it. We're good to go. I lock it up, and I actually get their approval on it. I want them to sign off on every level,
every step.
We're already in contract. We've already gone through the whole idea of how much this is going to cost. So to me, I feel confident that when I give them this, I'm like, if we change based on this, it's extra money, it's extra cost. So what this does is it makes a client kind of go, I'm going to stick to this because, one, I truly believe in it. I love where we are with this, and there's no reason to change because you've taken them along for this process.
It's like signing off on the foundation of a house.
Of course.
Yeah. And if you want to change the foundation after building two floors, they're like,
Yep. I use the architect thing so much. You know what I mean? Because
it speaks to you.
Because blueprints, I think everyone can understand that. If you're building the house.
We have some students in the chat.
Let's see. Awesome.
Yeah, you have a Mitch who's a design student. Yeah, let us know if you have a design students in the chat.
Yeah.
Always good.
Perfect.
So use blueprints, all this.
Because it puts it into perspective, and I think a lot of times we could talk our language, and it goes way beyond what a client might not get it. So to me, I want to make sure we're giving them, the right sense of what we're talking about. So it's not just going, whew, Do you know what gritty means now?
Yeah,
I'm
good now. Thanks.
Oh, so communication design student. Great.
Oh,
that's interesting. Yeah. What specifically? I've never heard it. That communication design student. Great. Okay. I love that communication is part of it too. That's really great.
This is exactly what you're doing.
One of the things, you're
bringing a lot of communication components.
Yeah.
Finding the stories, the keywords.
We've changed the name of our class used to just be graphic design that I teach here at Cal State Northridge in LA, and we changed it to brand design and experience design, and because it's true, like the times have changed so much, and so to me it's great to see so many of them are saying communication design. We as designers, I think we have to be marketable. We have to know that area of beyond just design, because then you're so much more valued. I just think so. To me, it's really smart. I'm glad to see from the Valley. Let's see, San Fernando Valley. Interesting. I'm curious to know where she went. I never went to design school. These types of videos, tutorials help me get. Oh, great. That's good to hear. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so I've locked in this idea, right? We're good to go. Client loves it. I like it. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And someone brought up about presenting, correct? Like brand boards.
Yeah, how do you pitch your customer? Yeah. Like, how do you present your concept to a customer?
Okay, let me see what I can find. Would this be a good time to do that? Just so I can show one?
Yeah.
Okay.
See how you feel.
Okay, let's see if it's here. Oh, here we go. So I'm opening up this. So basically, how I put it together was I defined everything that we decided as the client and myself what need to be there. So how is this brand defined? This is a company that produces drones and radio-controlled vehicles and fun things for kids and families. Okay? So they do a kind of cool stuff there. So the products have to go just beyond flying. Products are drones first, but they have secondary play value. Then I give them what has to be communicated on the packaging, and this is what we decide on. So emotions, again, brand positioning, all there. So I always say that these are just specific brand themes. These are just to recommend for the brand. So this first one I identified, you know how I said like gritty natural and cartoon hip? Yeah. I love to give these really good fun names that they can remember. So like on this one, I called this one Family Tech.
That's
okay,
good.
Because when I did all the research, what I found was that there is this whole theme of tech-based packaging being produced, but it has to be appropriate to the family, not just the 15-year-old kid that's building his own computer. So real simple. And this was pure packaging. This was not to. We didn't go into those brand boards too much, but you can see everything I picked here has this very clean white and primary color version of kind of like what I was calling family tech. And what I try to do, and this will help you guys out a little bit, is throw out the advantages. Why are you producing this or showing this to your client? What's the advantage of it? And when you can give it to them like this and say it evokes friendly personality, it's clean white lines, the product is shown without clutter. There's so many times where you guys can probably walk the shelf and see a ton of competitors out there in packaging, and it's just too cluttered, and there's no clear message as far as what's there in the hierarchy. So I put this in here that it keeps negative space, so it's very easy and uncluttered, and they use family lifestyle photography. It was one of the things I was noticing they were doing. So the second one was this fun science idea, and this was really cool. This was the one that I did, which was a little bit more, let's see, here we go. You can see there's a totally different vibe here. So it uses more black as the background. It's a little bit more science driven, where you see a little bit more of this kind of stuff with really cool grids and textures and backgrounds and whatever, you name it. So, and this one, fantastic job here. Whoever did this, I think that might have even been a student design. I can't remember. But again, it's a little more techie and a little more science.
Geeky.
So you want to give them. This is kind of just a quick example of how
you share the
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Okay. So, any other questions on presenting? Let me know, because I have some ones that are much more presentational, meaning they have the concepts at the end. So I can show those too as well. Okay. So we know SNIX SNAX is our name. We have a sign off on the direction we're going to go with. Okay. So one of the things I want to do now is start logo designing for this thing. So SNIX SNAX does not exist yet, and before I make the packaging, I want to make sure that we are branding it correctly. Okay. So how many of you have seen this, or how many of you have a document like this where you got about 40 different fonts and you basically laying them out and looking to make sure you're good? I bring back my words: whimsical, adventurous, curious, playful, experimental. And I just start playing around with them. I want to see what fonts start working. But also too, one of the biggest things you got to remember for packaging is it has to be readable. And you have to grab someone from 2 to 3 feet away on that shelf. So sometimes you can't get away with very light or minimal fonts. Okay? They got to be bold. So that's my first thing. Okay. Do you want to go into dimension, or
No.
Oh, you good? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. All right. So I want to make sure we're there, and I want to make sure we have something to play around with. And again, too, this is just for us to kind of start understanding what's going to work. Now, that one font I showed you guys was this one. Let's get rid of that. I love this one. So this is called Childish Reverie. And this has such a perfect design, feel, and shape for what I like.
VA.
Isn't that great? It's just, really cool. And what's nice too is sometimes when a font comes with some fantastic dingbats and icons to use, they're so fun to play around with, because you got an instant, they go together. Now again, your capture method would be fantastic if you want to do unique things like this, where you're adding on your own version of some of these little things, that would be great to use. Okay, so I've chose this. I really kind of like this idea, and here's my workboard. I get right into it and I start just looking at the letters, and I want to just start seeing again too where these things are going to start falling into place. All right, and I might even go back to here. I love my adventure ones here, so I'm going to just start playing around with these and kind of figuring out. I love the idea of that one image I found that showed this multicolored text. There was something that you guys showed at Max too that was about multicolored fonts.
Yeah, color fonts.
Yes.
So it's a typeface that when you distribute, like it's part of the open type, specification now.
Yes.
You can have like variable fonts and colored fonts. So where each character is already colorized.
Got it.
With multiple colors.
Okay.
So this is something that now is supported in Photoshop and Illustrator. There is a plugin also called Font Self, which lets you create your own color font.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Where you can design your A, B, C. You have to design everything. You can even draw like or paint in Photoshop and say, this is my A. This is my capital A. This is my small cap A. B. Like you have to do the entire alphabet.
Okay. But
and you click on Create a Font, and poof, you have a typeface that you can share with your design team. Yeah, you should check that. It's an amazing plugin. It's called Font Self.
Oh wow!
It's really amazing.
I'm gonna look at it now. Those multicolor ones, can you outline them? And do they? Can they change to outlines? I'm just curious.
You can outline, but then I don't know if you can control the outline. I guess.
Like, would it be all sectioned off in all its colors? Ooh.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I stumped them.
It depends on the open type specification. I'm not expert enough, but
cool. I'm gonna play around with it.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
We should play around.
Cool. All right. So hopefully this is probably coming off a little.
And yes, Laura, Font Self is a plugin. Sorry.
Oh.
For Photoshop and Illustrator, you should check that.
Oh, okay.
It's one word, Font Self. Let me put it in the chat. I will put the link in the chat.
Oh
to
yeah,
be easier for our friends.
That'd be great. I might even play around with it a little bit before we.
It's quite impressive.
That's cool. So again, I'm just gonna start figuring out how this is gonna work. Oh, I don't want green on top of green. So there we go.
And we have a new entry for the Adobe Dimension contest.
Can we take a look?
Yeah, look at that.
Hey.
I love that they took an Adobe stock picture. It's a good way to preview it.
You're right.
Yeah, with a wood table, it looks great, and the packaging looks so realistic. Look at the reflex, everything. Like it's really again. The way this is a 3D. This is not a picture. Like you have to understand, this is made with a dimension, and keep sharing. Maybe I can show very quickly dimension because someone was asking. It's part of Creative Cloud. Okay, so open your Creative Cloud, install dimension. You can launch it, create a new project. You have an amazing onboarding experience with the tutorial, but basically you start with the 3D space. You can choose a 3D model. If you don't see the 3D model, you can find one on stock. So let's do a coffee cup this time. Okay, and what we will do is we'll put it on this picture. So you add a background picture. It will analyze the background picture to understand how the light is. Is it a sunlight? Is it interior light? What is the direction and everything? You can, of course, change the camera angle, like the reason. I have a very big cup. I don't know what you're like.
That looks like my morning cup.
You like coffee?
No, I do.
Yeah, because it's maybe we should put it this time. And
that's like a quarter shot espresso.
That was a big one. And then once you have your illustration, like your logo made, like you remember the All Natural that comes from Adobe Capture?
Oh, look at this guy.
Boom. I can just add it here. And here we go. It will match.
Zoom in. We got to see how that looks.
And so the shadow is a little bit weird, so maybe I can rotate the light to make it okay. How is the intensity?
I'm right there with you, Juan. We need coffee.
And this is using sunlight, intensity, rotation. Yeah, the sun is more this way, you see?
Yeah.
I'm matching with and maybe less intense. A little bit cloudy at the height. Okay, now it's matching. And at the end, you render the picture. So that's what they did, you know? And that's why it looks so good, so like a real picture. That's because this is using a 3D rendering engine called V-Ray, which is super professional. Here I'm using the low setting just to get something quick.
Yeah.
But if you use high, it can take like 30 minutes just to render
Yeah.
the picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes 1 hour, depending on the number of objects you have. But at the end, it looks super natural. It will match, as you can see here, with the ambient light, the shadow, everything. So yeah, we want you to try Adobe Dimension. Share with us what you are doing, such as what
That's
it was
great.
amazing, like what we have just featured. And in about 25 minutes, so you still have 25 minutes, we will ask Nick, okay, which one do you prefer? And you can win a Creative Code subscription. Okay, so
Awesome.
try Dimension now.
Nice. I can't wait to dive into that so much
it will
more.
be so
It's
fun.
just
With
too much
with
fun.
SNIX SNAX.
I know, this is great.
We need a
This
SNIX
is so
SNAX
cool.
3D render.
Okay, so I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of digging what I like here, and I think you had mentioned you like that whole idea of, you know, being a little bit different with the A and having some fun with it, right? So I want us to start thinking
They
about.
have mantras for you now. They have taglines like they
What's-
say Nick SNIX SNAX, learning made tasty.
Okay, maybe that's the
That's the name of your show.
we need tagline ideas for SNIX SNAX.
Oh yeah, we need taglines. These. Be creative in the chat.
Come on, we
need
got
the
to see
tagline
something
for
good.
SNIX SNAX. Now you know the brand. You know
Exactly.
the emotions. You saw the mood board. You should be able to be creative.
I
We need
want
a
to. Yeah, I
copywriter.
want to see it.
We need a tagline.
Exactly. So let's see what else we could do here. We're gonna get that.
We let them
orange.
work. A little bit.
Exactly. We're a team effort here.
Nick is doing everything.
So I figure I've got something kind of fun to play around with, and this is kind of my idea
Oh, I know.
where we can kind of like, I feel like it has just enough of play value. It's still going to be easy to read when it's on the shelf. One of the things I love too, and gosh, this is my favorite tool on Illustrator, but Pathfinder and using all the different things that you can do with it to kind of help with your logo and everything. So I'm going to.
So we have some entries like snacks till you drop.
Oh, okay. I like
SNIX
that.
SNAX for healthy rugrats.
Healthy Rugrats. That's a good one.
Do a health hacks.
Let's see.
It's SNIX SNAX. Yeah.
It's
maybe just
SNIX
SNIX SNAX.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
It's
It's
kids
Kids SNIX. Did you get?
yeah.
That's funny. There's so many good ones. I love it. So I'm just gonna start playing around with this. I want to kind of offset the path a little bit to make something a little bit. Oop, I went negative. I'll let you keep looking at my tagline ideas. If we get anything good.
SNIX SNAX. Snacks your mom's money. Okay.
All right.
Woo. It's bubbly now. Ah, okay. So you have set the path to put something in the background?
Yeah, I just want to like.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
kind of like this idea that like maybe. Let's see here. I think we've got. What do we got here? Compound path going.
SNIX SNAX. Just buy it. I'm not sure you'll.
Just buy it.
Yeah.
Come on, we gotta get
I'm
a
sure the customer will
little
love
more
it,
creative than that.
but your clients will love it, but maybe not the final user.
There you go.
SNIX SNAX for the adventurous kids. Yeah, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about using words
Yeah.
also from the mood boards. I mean, from
snacks for any adventure.
Yeah.
See how collaborative we are?
Yeah,
This is
there we go.
perfect.
the
So
a good brainstorm.
yeah, and one of the things I like to do too, when I get to a point where I've got kind of a finished logo, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do this, but I kind of like, I want to see it a few times, and I want to see it in different colors. So to me, I might think that this could be a little too saturated where we're at. So when I look at these, I think, oh, okay, maybe is this color a little more, and I think it's popping a little bit RGB there on that screen, but like,
Oh
you
yeah,
see
it's
here,
more desaturated.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Yeah, it's
anytime it's the connection.
It's the streaming
Exactly. So
compression.
I really
I
want to
love
make
that.
sure we have something that's not too overly powerful and too saturated and looks way out there.
Do you use these tools?
Which
sometimes?
ones?
This one. Do you know this one?
No. Show me. Let's see.
So where was
I started that puppet bend.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Is it cool?
Yeah, that's pretty
I
incredible.
need to try it.
Yeah.
So it's called recolor artwork.
Oh, this is what. Yeah, they showed us this the other
So
day.
it's what you select
Okay.
basically, and you can
Yeah.
control each color. But what I like is the edit mode,
This is amazing.
where for you can link everything. Is it link? Yeah, now it's link,
Okay.
and you can, like unsaturate like this.
Unbelievable.
But you can also keep the same
Yeah.
link between your colors.
I
to
see.
try different.
Look at that. So what a great idea that when you dupe them,
Oh,
you just go into this and change,
for the
and you make up. So now,
for the taste and everything. Yeah, we
exactly.
can. We can
so
switch.
let's say now, here I've made the 6, right?
Okay, let's try.
So if I do one, does it change it to the other ones? So like go back in there. What's this called again? So everybody knows.
Recolor artwork.
Recolor.
Well, you can
artwork.
select the 6.
Yeah. Oh no, but let's say I want to show. This looks like a quick way to make 6 different color variations.
Yeah, let's try.
Right.
So let's pick the second one. You go in edit.
There you go.
Make sure you link the color so you keep the same.
So they stay together.
Yeah.
So the orange stays orange and the red
so
stays.
let's switch to the pink and see how it goes.
Damn.
Maybe somewhere here. And then you pick another one. You say, okay.
That's awesome.
Recolor artwork.
That's fantastic.
I love this tool.
So there it is right up there. When you select your stuff, this little icon right here, and it even says it. Look at that. Recolor artwork. That's fantastic.
Nice.
Because it's like, sometimes I struggle with teaching people this idea that you can make 40 different color variations in like less than 30 minutes, right? You're playing around, but this idea keeps everything harmonious, which is kind of
and
the
you can
whole
break
goal.
the harmony too. This tool is awesome. You can also, if you teach color theory, you can go also and say, okay, let me try to see. So these are web safe colors. Okay, but
yes,
I mean it was for if you still produce website for 2002, it can be useful.
Okay.
For 2002 browsers, web safe.
Yep,
what you
saving
can
hours.
do
Yep,
is
for sure.
also go here, and these are color palettes
I use these all the
defined
time.
by Illustrator.
Yep.
Like art history, Baroque, Impressionism.
Love
so
it.
inspired by pop art, for instance. And boom, And now you are playing in the color palette of pop art.
Look at that.
Which is very close to yours, actually.
Look
it's
at
interesting.
that. That's
but
really
now if
great.
I go to Baroque, it will be completely different.
Unbelievable. It's almost
Much
like
more dusty,
yeah,
earthy.
But look, these are colors that like would take you an hour to figure out, in a way, to make because it's working.
This
It
one
really
is
works.
kids stuff.
Ah, look at that!
Like very vibrant or unsaturated.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
This one is interesting. And
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep.
Like
Ryan said he didn't even
Make
know
sure
about
to-
this one. I know.
you didn't know.
I knew it, but
check this
never
tool.
saw it. It was shown at Max last week, and it was one of those. The first thing I did was I upgraded everything, right? Specifically Illustrator because I kind of live in there. But these new things are just fantastic.
I really love this tool.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, look at that. Michael gave me 6 different versions right
There we
off
go.
the bat.
Now we're done. See you tomorrow.
We're ahead of schedule because of
Sorry.
the efficiency.
Because of Creative Cloud. Sorry.
I love it. So that's fantastic. That's really great.
Adventurous Bites. Yeah. We still have
Ah,
proposal.
there
They keep writing.
That's great. I love it. Did you try the new panel properties? Yes. Snacks, sneak to snacks. Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Function. Yep. Gosh, this is great. Some good insight there. On logo design, any questions on that? Are you guys?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what what your approach is when you're tackling the first few logo concepts. What are you doing? What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? This is a good thing too. Is one of the neat things we talked about with a lot of people we interviewed at Max was to start talking about as designers things that we've failed at.
Okay.
Not just the good stuff. Where did you make a mistake? What was your hurdle?
Yeah.
And
that's what I like on Adobe Live is that you can fail.
Yeah.
Like you have time, so you can show that sometimes. Yeah. I mean, we had the case in the past.
Yeah.
Like people working on identity actually, taking a direction, and after 15 minutes saying, you know what? No.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I know. Because it's that real, But I love the fact that we can learn from each other if they're, sharing the things that not just the success stories, but the things that like where you've maybe had a little pitfall or didn't present right or didn't what you promised you didn't deliver. I think a lot of times that's a huge problem too. So I don't do mood boards. I need to add them to for sure.
Mitch. Yeah.
For sure. Yep. no other SNIX snacks, no other snacks. I love. See, you guys are copywriters. This is fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
I love it. The only snack your mom will love. Yep. That's great. If someone could throw one in there that plays off the idea that the X is standing for CK, kind of in a way, like SNIX snacks.
Oh.
So think about finding another way to use it.
Would become packs or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
I see
go.
what you mean.
Yep. Interesting.
You would be Nix.
Yes, NIX.
Like Nixon.
Not even close.
3 letters.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna lock up. Which one should we lock up? What do you? These are the same. So
yeah, these are still the same. So among the 3.
I kind of like one of these new. I kind of like this one.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
You want to ask in the chat?
Yeah. Oh.
So let's say 1, 2, or 3.
So I'm gonna do 1.
But you don't have to follow the chat. Because if you feel strong about something, don't get influenced. But it would be interesting to see. Which one do you prefer? 1, 2, or 3? And maybe you can explain why.
Yeah. And I will give these a little bit more space so everyone can see.
Anton prefers 1. Okay. And maybe you can explain why you prefer 1.
I like 1 because I feel
1, 2, or 3. I mean,
there's a better balance.
The balance
in colors. Also, 2, branding for kids, you have to think very neutral, gender neutral. You want to shoot for something that's appealing to everybody. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes with the pinks and purples, they could skew one way, or you want universal colors that can really play off of this. And so what I see in 1 and maybe even 3, it has a little more of a universal feel that I feel like it can work. But to me, I've seen 3 before. But 1 to me looks fresh and new. So again, I don't want to follow a trend. I want to maybe start something new.
Break the trend.
Because it has a little more of that dusty color palette.
There are a lot of fans of the number 1. They like number 1.
Yeah. Okay. The harmony. There you go. Yep. More eye grabbing. Colors are more balanced for kids. Yep. Looks like kids' toys. What's the packaging color?
We'll see later.
Yep, exactly.
We have to decide later.
Yep. Yeah, 1 or 3. I think we're kind of in the gray zone. So I'm good with that.
Number 1. Yeah,
I'm good with that. So
we have an agreement.
Yep.
The customer will sign off.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to. There's my tabs. I don't know where that is. So I'm going to give you. We got this guy. So we're going to save him. Get this one done. This one's done too. I think we got everything on there. So, got our mood board, got our logo design. I want to show you some presentation stuff too. This is kind of what a typical logo board looks like for mine. This was a branding exploration for another kids line, but a much more infant line of stuffed animals and toys and things like that for kids. But I do love to really show a variety of stuff when it comes to my first round, and then I will narrow it down to those 3 or 4 once we get there. So presenting, what I'll do before tomorrow's show is put together a few unique ones to show off everybody.
Thanks.
You know, how are we on time now?
We have about 22, 24 minutes.
Oh, we do?
No?
16.
Oh, 16, sorry.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
It's back.
Cool. Let's see. I'll give you a little bit of what we're going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about the execution of putting this together. And here is kind of a look at what we're going to be building. So I'm going to do the pouch. Okay. Very similar to what I think someone just showed us on.
Yeah, we had a very good one.
Yeah.
Good example today.
And I picked one specifically that you will have on...
on stock.
Exactly.
So you have the model already. Okay,
yeah.
That's smart.
So also what I have is this guy.
Okay,
so
that's
just a nice PSD, high resolution of this guy.
Okay.
Right there to play around. So this is the bag we're going to start building for.
Awesome.
Okay. So this specifically is the die line that we get from our vendor. So the vendor is usually set up by our client, and basically they send this over. So now we have, going back to our architecture thing, the blueprint of what our bag's going to be. Okay, so that's what we're going to be kind of getting that new logo in there, figuring out some new unique things and everything, and how we do the hierarchy.
Okay.
But the last thing I'll leave you with, and I know we have to pick someone, right? We have to.
Yeah, we will pick someone in about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
You still have 5 minutes.
Good deal. Okay. So
and some of them, they are rendering their files.
This is something I created on my own, and I'm a big believer in when you have a process that works and you've tried something with a client, build it into your system and something that you make. This is something really cool. So when I had a client that was very decided on what he wanted on the front of the packaging and what he wanted on the back for the information. So I built a template like this, and basically what it is it's just mapping out all the areas on there, and I start giving my suggestions as to what should go into each area. Okay, and this I can give it to him and say, here's my suggestions, but I also give it to him with these notes that he can fill in the blanks and kind of write around.
Wow,
so it's like it's really
incentives to get some feedback.
He feels like he's in on it. You know, he's helping me tell what's the most important part of the project and what he wants to get out there to the consumer. So he can see that B1 is probably the biggest thing. So B1 is the logo of his brand. Okay, B2 would be where you're going to have maybe the tagline. Yeah. So he starts to see that the hierarchy is really going to be working well here, and everything kind of has its own place and where it's going to go. So from that, I'll show you. Where is it? Let's see. Give me 1 second. Here we go. So I'll show you how. There we go. How that one came out. So this was actually. Why isn't it working? This is one of those 3D PDFs.
Kevin is asking if you have a book. If you wrote a book.
Do I have a book? No. Oh, that would be cool. You could check our podcast for sure, the Deeply Graphic Design podcast. We do that. I've been on for quite a while. We've got about 150 episodes based on, you name the topic in design, we've definitely been there. And I do on Instagram and other stuff kind of share process a lot too. You know, I think that's really important for us to kind of share this kind of stuff to make sure everyone kind of, you know, knows what we're doing. You know, it's like, again, we can learn from this stuff all the time. So, here we go. Save option. So here's an example of that bottle. So this is, and this, I don't, this is, it's almost dimension like. So again, we can do
in a PDF.
And this is, I gotta tell you, this is why Dimensions is so exciting for me, is to get this done by the vendor costs so much money that some clients can't afford it. So now that we have it in Dimension, this is so great for us as designers to say, now my client, specifically a bottle with a funky shape, can see how everything's gonna. It gives them this ability to go, you know what, I'm gonna feel good with this. I feel confident going forward.
And it can be in the context.
Yeah.
Also, you can add a context with the background picture, because what inspired me, we had one of the participants in the contest, you know, taking pictures of her desk with a computer. You can imagine like going to the supermarket. Mm-hmm. You take a picture of the shelves and you say, hey, this is how your product will look like among the competition.
Exactly. And you show it how that, and that's a challenge for you even as a designer. You know how many times I've dropped art into it and my art didn't stand out? So you got to find a way to make it a little bit better. But again, so we're going to get into that hierarchy thing tomorrow and start building how this is going to lay out and start testing it on that PSD.
Love it.
But also too, I would love to get to a point where you're going to be the guru teaching me Dimension, because I'm ready.
I think we will learn.
I think I'm already there, right?
All together. I'm also learning Dimension.
Good. Cool.
Okay, so
What do we got?
this time.
Let's see.
It's
I'm
time
anxious
to give
see
away
it.
a Creative Cloud subscription to one of you. We receive more entries as you were, sharing. So we will review all the entries we got during the show. We invited you to create and render a picture using Dimension, which is a new product, part of Creative Cloud, and you did an awesome job. We will be live for 4 more hours today. Okay, after Cecilia is coming for 2 hours, and after we have Kevin Coyle coming too. And it will be more opportunities for you to use Dimension and share it with us and maybe win a Creative Cloud subscription.
Do it.
So we have Ashley, look at that. Oh, I recognize these 3 objects, but she used 1, 2, 3. Like all these 3 objects are 3D objects.
Okay.
And with the logo, okay. I mean, good job. It looks like a good picture, very good rendering.
I gotta say too, like everything lines up perfectly. Look at the perspective of everything.
Perspective is good.
Yeah.
Shadow is good. Yeah, very good job. I like the metallic effect here.
Yep.
It really looks like metal. Yeah, I can really feel the reflection. Very good job. We have fishing mates. Oh, we adding a lens flare.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whole new level.
So when you render with Dimension, you can either render a PNG file, but also a PSD, and you keep all the layers.
Yeah.
So you can still open it in Photoshop.
And go right into specific areas, right?
Yeah, and it will create some masks for you.
Yeah.
Like if you want to mask out this shape, you already have the mask actually.
Yeah.
So it's super useful. And you can add a lens flare
great.
if you want.
Yeah.
To add this 1996 look. Add a lens flare.
Nostalgic.
But I like the logo. I like, it's and the sun also, it works. Sun from the back, the shadow, backlight. Very good job with the light. And Rufus is here. Look at that.
Oh, dang. That's cool.
Oh, I remember that. It was an offsite, so Rufus, he works in my team.
Oh, he does?
And we had an offsite where they 3D scan your body.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can 3D print something like this.
Yes.
But also they give you the 3D model. So Alexandre, I guess, was able to import Rufus.
So he got to put in his 3D model.
With the table, yeah. Good job. Oh, Behance Live cookies. I love that.
That's great.
So
Clever
this
name.
box is a 3D model, but it looks
yeah.
well. So check one advice, okay? Suppose that this is white paper. Try to get the same light and tint on this white.
Yeah,
and it
that's
will
a
look
nice point.
Boom, spot on. It will look super realistic. You will see. Same for the pen. You see, it's greenish.
It's got a green tint to it.
Yeah, just play with the environment light and just shift it a little bit to the green, and you will see how it will look. It will be awesome. But it's very good. I love the top angle view.
Yes.
It's one of the first time I see that actually.
Yes.
And I love it. And we have the Behance Gelato.
No. Oh, that's now you're talking about language.
A me piace.
That's great.
Gelato. Okay. On the wood table, beautiful picture. And again, I mean, the box is there. Yeah. Very good job. It looks aligned with the perspective and everything.
Definitely.
Simple box. Very good job. 2 faces. And remember, we had Francisca. Oh, what's happening? Coffee. Dina, coffee.
Go for
okay, yeah. Let's have some coffee.
Okay. I know all this coffee.
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
You want some coffee, Nick?
I would love some, but
you can use this coffee.
You have it.
Oh my God! What's this guy? Holy shit! Oh yeah, this is
Now I see how much work you guys do each day. This is crazy.
You see, like the hard work.
Yeah, the hard work.
Hard work. This is Halloween, so there is this crazy character. Maybe he will.
Yeah. He might arrive. You might
any
see a lot
moment.
more of them.
So remember Francesca?
Yeah.
I really love this because she took a picture and she put it in the background. Very smart. Also, this one super professional.
A lot of work. Look at that.
Looks great. And Alexandre also, who played with the Rufus and also with the hats. And the universal boost.
Yep.
So this is the 3D model we will use tomorrow, right?
Correct. Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, it will be interesting.
Nice.
And now it's the tough time, Nick. You have to choose one.
I'm a big believer in working hard, and I gotta say, I think the most work went into that one, right there.
That one?
Yeah.
You like this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of, 4 sides.
Yeah, it's a lot of packaging work.
Yeah. Putting all that copy in, nutritional facts. That's great. That's a lot of work for doing a demo.
Cool. And this is something we will actually feature tomorrow. For all the other one, keep creating, keep sharing, and maybe your entry will be selected during the next show or
Yeah.
tomorrow. We have 3 days together. So keep using Dimension. I'm already very impressed
I know.
by what you are doing, playing with lights, perspective. I mean, you get it.
Yeah.
It's super impressive. So yeah, keep sharing during these 3 days. This is very impressive. And congratulations to this designer. Did an amazing job.
Great.
Okay. So Nick, tomorrow we understand that today, okay, we had the mood boards. We have the design thinking process with the customer, the emotions we want to. The customer has signed off. We're good.
Yep.
We have a logo.
Yep.
So now we know what would be the shape of the final package.
Yep.
This is this bag. And you will play with the identity tomorrow to see, and the hierarchy and everything.
Exactly. So we're going to first start with that one kind of diagram to build everything as far as the hierarchy of everything, get that signed off, and then we're going to get right into it and start laying things out right on the die line and see how everything looks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. We will be back tomorrow, same time with Nick. Let us know in the chat if you enjoyed this session. I think it was really awesome. Thanks for sharing your knowledge.
Oh,
And we'll still be
pleasure.
live. So if you enjoy graphic design and packaging, we will be live at the top of the hour. So in about 9 minutes with Cecilia, who is in the studio. Hi. Thanks for joining us. And it will be another design mind, another
Too much
creative
knowledge.
process. Too much knowledge.
Too much creativity.
Oh my God, yeah.
Non-stop.
We hope you enjoyed this session.
Thank you guys. This was great.
Yeah, and we have the Adobe Live team in the chat if you want to provide any feedback, if you know designers that we want to, maybe you want to be, us to invite to be featured on Adobe Live, don't hesitate to provide feedback. And yes, we really want you to use Dimension and let us know what you think, because what you are doing already is very impressive. Yeah, they are all very grateful.
Yes. Thank
you,
you
Nick.
guys. That was a blast. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, this will be awesome. I'm also super excited to see what SNIX SNAX will become.
Who knows? We might
And
just
maybe
have
within 6 months I will go to Whole Foods.
you
and
never
I will
know.
see SNIX SNAX
Yes, that's the plan.
with your picture like this.
Created on Adobe.
Cool. Thanks everyone. Stay tuned and make sure to be with us at the top of the hour. Just in about a few minutes with Paul Trani, who will be back with Cecilia on behance.net/live. Bye everyone.